What's up, fighting game fans? Welcome to EX Saturdays, the show where we talk about the Midwest fighting game community scene and keep you up to date with all the recent fighting game news. I'm NT.
Dynamite.
I'm Ham Jams.
And we got Seph back again. So what up, Seph?
What's
we love you
going
here.
on, man? Oh, hi, how's it going, everybody? Back. Yeah. I'm like the regular. I'm like the fourth man, just in case. The indefinite swap, just in case.
So this week we're gonna be, But this week we're gonna be talking about some rather casual things. We're gonna recap LKO Week 3. Want to talk about Jita and Sorties now that they have released, and just keep up on some general topics. Keep it light this week. So running it back right away, LKO Week 3. I think you could probably tell by all of us that Week 3 kind of bodied us. Like, I'm tired. I know Ham's tired. Dan, how you feeling? Yeah, it was rough. But Skullgirls, oh man, they came out in force.
Yeah, that's facts. Skullgirls came out like what, over 100 and was it 100 people?
So we had 101 signed up through the attendees page, and I think it was something like 48 entrants for Skullgirls. And I think the final match Reno number ended around 150, if I remember right.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, the $150. That's awesome. I mean,
they really came out for that.
Didn't somebody donate like on another $50 near the end or something like that? That was sick.
I think that it really goes to show you, especially in the Midwest, but everywhere in the U.S. But that community really does, when their game gets a chance to shine, they really do show up. Because we announced it like a week in advance. They only had 7 days to sign up, and it was being pushed by Mike Z, Kai Kennedy. Shout outs to them for jumping on commentary yesterday. But man, they just came out of the woodwork. It was like, wow, these people really love that game, and it's awesome to see that.
I want to say it's like a vocal minority situation type of fan base where they're really compact, but they're very, very adamant about how much they love their game, and I think that's important to have for most games like that. And I don't think you guys may have a different opinion, but I feel like Skullgirls players don't really they're not graining with their support. There are those types of communities where it's just like all they talk about is their game, and they talk at length about their game. You're not a cool person to them unless you play their game too. They're those types.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because every time I've met someone like at locals who plays Skullgirls, at most, be like, hey man, I play Skullgirls, like, you interested in it? If you say no, they go, oh, okay, that's cool, but like it's a fun game, you should check it out, and then they leave it at that.
Yeah, that's I think that's like the most important thing that you can do as somebody that's playing something that's a little less popular. Don't be the guy that you walk up to somebody, you're like, you're watching a match and you're like, oh, this looks pretty cool, and they go, oh my god, you know why it's cool? And they give you like some 500-word essay. It's like I just want to see it. Now you're killing it for me, man. I just wanted to see it for what it was at a high level, and now that we're here, just be cool. Cool.
I had that with I can't remember if it was like Fantasy Strike. It was some weird ass anime game that I was playing in the Ignite Old Man Room. I feel like every time I try and step into the Ignite Old Man Room to just like see what new game has popped up in there, they're always just like bombarding me with information that I'm just like, I've never seen this game. I don't even know what it is. And then they'll explain tech. Like, all right, so that character, like, I remember when I was trying out Melty, like I was just watching Melty for the first time. It was Frosty. Everybody, I would just sit behind the projector watching it. And then everybody's telling me, all right, yeah, so that character, she can do this in the air, but that she shouldn't do it because it's minus and all that. And I was like, please calm down, So it happens the exact same way in the Ignite Old Man Room. Because then, or Dom, you're right. It's just like, they just bombard you with nonstop information. But that's how much they love their game. And it's not really in a way that's like, I wouldn't even say that's graining. I don't know.
And I want to give a shout out now that I have the match Reno up. They did end at 202.90. with the top three contributors being Blonde Bunny, who I believe entered as a local hot MILF. Yeah. Shout out to that name. We had What NS in second. Blonde Bunny did 5110. What NS did 5050, and then JM Fosh, I hope I pronounced that right, with 2895. So yeah, those players all came out very strong.
Congratulations and congrats to their wallet for being bad.
While we're on that topic, NCV was our #1 winner of last night, followed
Chicago,
by PME.
Baby.
Yeah, PME took second place, and then Shaky Fingers in third, with a special shout outs to Gelato in fourth.
Yeah, Chicago baby again. Dude.
Yep.
All right.
And from what I saw on the stream, that was a hard bracket.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get a chance to peep the bracket because I was busy running Grand Blue with Dan. Couldn't even caught the tail end of it, but I'm glad that everybody had fun. I'm glad that the names that I know are the ones that I'm hearing at the top. You know.
That's right, because that's what we do.
Yeah, we support, but also there's a lot of regional bias when it comes to.
Oh, there's hella regional bias.
Yeah, of course there is.
People all want to win. Yeah, to me. Everybody else is trash. Chicago.
The biggest reason I think we have the regional bias for this one is because since Skullgirls has such a great online, we expanded it to beyond Midwest. So we had actual coast wars going on.
That's sick.
Yeah, there was somebody registered from Puerto Rico.
Yo, shout outs, man.
Shout outs to Puerto Rico, Boricua, forever in my heart. And then we had one of our TOs verify the connection. He actually played him, from Chicago to Puerto Rico, and that shit worked. So,
damn, the magic of rollback, man.
This is why we need rollback. This is why we have to believe and strive.
Oh.
Like, the thing is, if it has bad systems, but it has rollback, it's not a fun game. But it has rollback.
We'll see. We got the the beta won't have the rollback, but it will have some updates, I think, to the system. So that's this weekend coming up, actually. Drive beta weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, closed beta.
Yeah. Well, it's still the delay-based beta.
And I did hear that the people who were at Frosty Faustings, like whoever did the Strive thing over there, they actually were guaranteed a beta code for this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, they did the right thing. They filled out the form, and they were rewarded with the ability to play their game in its semi-optimal form. Or waiting for full optimization.
Yeah, I just think that it was so important that people actually put in good, quality responses to that survey. You could tell that it wasn't just like, oh, this game you need to I feel like, anyway, I obviously haven't seen them, but it feels like the majority of the feedback that they got was constructive, and coming from a place where people wanted the game to be better, or really wants this game to succeed. And I'm glad that if we have just one example of community feedback going well in this current era of fighting games that are coming out, then I think Strive is definitely that.
Yeah, it's nice for a developer to be in touch with their audience. Maybe not too in touch. I think we touched on this a little bit a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about what happens when a developer listens to their community too much.
I think that's actually a really interesting topic, so let's table that for just a second so we can keep going with LKO. But I do want to continue talking about this. So let's jump over to the MK bracket. So we had Field Punk, new to LKO, first week here, and he takes the bracket over Shady. Knocked him out in winners finals, and yet again in grand finals. Shady had to beat Bacon Lord to get back up into the grand finals. So shout outs to our top three. Also shout outs to XO Snowman for making fourth, another new face. Beat a lot of good people. Unfortunately, we had a lot of DQs happening. I could have been unfamiliarity with the setup because it wasn't check-in. It was check-in issues. But either way, even with the DQs, no one had the easiest path up to victory. Even Bacon Lord was saying last night that he had a rough run in losers.
Where generally Bacon Lord will cruise his way up to, second or third. So for
Bacon Lord is like one of those things that we're getting used to. Like it's just one of those things that we assume is going to happen. But Shady was saying at the beginning, like before the tournament started, that the MK bracket was looking kind of tough. So
yeah,
not surprised that there's some shakeups there.
I really wish I remembered who it was in chat, but I want to give a special shout out to whoever it was in chat. Someone's like, hey, because Bakelor said, hey, we should play more. It was really fun. And they just go, no, I don't want to play Cetrion. I was like, you know what? That is 100% fair. I can't blame you for that one.
Yo, that's messed up.
That's pretty good. It's like, hey man, maybe I can give you some pointers so that you don't get completely exploded by this character. It's like, nah, fuck that. I'd rather have the option select, fuck your character. Cetrion's a bitch.
That was last week there was there was a comment like, hey man, sorry for the laggy connection, and the reply was just no.
I remember. That was sick. Oh, man.
That was really good.
Net plays a whole nother level of Assault.
Yeah, man. Speaking of net play being a whole nother level of Assault, Street Fighter V.
So Ham, yeah, you got to tell us that one.
Hold on. Hit me with the results. If I'm not mistaken, it was underscore followed by
first,
Cold Pipe, and
Cold
then
Pipe in second.
Just a Kid in third?
Just a Kid in third.
Okay, yeah, so that was correct. So then it was in losers finals. You had Cold Pipe versus Just a Kid.
Correct.
And that was the best because, I myself am a huge fan of Zangief and grapplers as a whole. And I don't know how... I had the SPD counter on the screen, bro. Like, I was the one running that stream, by the way. Very... Oof, man. I think he got like 18 SPDs off, and it was a lot. It was a lot. There was a lot of SPDs out there, but he finally connected the last one. Seph is a low health character as it is, and when it connected, the second that it said KO, like instantly disconnected. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's
going to the Street Fighter V chat, and Just a Kid just says ... GG's.
You gotta hold that.
About that is like you see the match end, you immediately go back over to the chat to see what the response is.
You can't.
Yo, my favorite one was the in MK1. I think it was Best MK Raiden versus somebody else, and I think Best MK Raiden smoked him. And then, instead of it saying GG's, it's just a picture of a dude smoking a cigarette with his hand in his face, like.
See, when you see Salty quits on online tournaments, it's the equivalent of, being at local. Someone just goes, fuck! And everyone just...
Yo, that's the best.
Meme.
I've only been able to experience locally the rare, actual, true explosion of a human, that it is the most powerful salt you'll ever experience. In person, somebody just mentally collapsing at the end of a set. They're just, fuck! Yo, shout outs to now Scoop to Retired for the second it said KO, he immediately stood up and said, money match me right now. Like the second that the O came out, he was like, money match me right now. I was like, dude!
Money on the table, let's go.
I was there at Naptown Clutch last year where someone actually threw the controller and screamed fuck. It was great.
Hell yeah.
So
oh yeah. Oh man. That was actually
man.
that was kind of scary. Because that was my first time having that experience there, and it's such a small venue, and it echoed because it was Naptown Clutch last year, took place in like a church or an upstairs of a church, and it's just echoey, and his fuck was the loudest fuck I've ever heard in a venue, and it was not just the fuck, it was a chair flying across the room, and you could hear every motion of the chair. You could hear the slow-mo, the music playing and everything like that.
Yo, it's heckin' slow-mo?
No, you could hear the chair flying across the room in slow-mo. And like Sarah McLaughlin's commercial, like it's playing
In the
too.
arms of an angel playing.
It was scary.
Man,
and so then me and Dan are
was
playing
great.
Mortal Kombat or something, and then I look over
Yeah.
like, huh?
And it was a Tekken match.
It's just
too,
an
so you
episode,
know
man. It was crazy. It was sick. Though.
See, that's how I know, Seph, you didn't have that hood school experience, because I'm very used to people throwing chairs and getting angry in grade school.
Every time I hear someone say, throw a chair, I immediately have to think of the Boondocks moment of like, they throw a chair, everyone just looks at the chair on the ground and goes, I'm bad, and start fighting.
They just riot.
It didn't in school. It didn't happen in like the dead of silence, where all you hear is just the button slapping of the sticks. Everybody's chatting and bantering and shit like that. And then, but this one was just explosive, and I was like, oh shit, dude. But that was fun, dude. That was sick. No moment like it when somebody's like salty, not salty popping off, but oh man, it's fun.
Big question I have for you, Ham, is how did CFN hold up this week?
CFN held out great. It was great. I'm going to say this right now. Jobin was our guest commentator from California.
Shout outs to Jobin, yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Jobin. He did a really great job. I really appreciated him. I hit him at very last minute and was like, hey, man, could you do this for me? And he's like, yeah, man, no problem. He ended up having a great time. He played St. Cola, Chicago to California, and it hits the bit, but it was playable. And then after that, we went into the tournament. No disconnects, nothing like that. Everything stayed clean the entire time.
So a step up from what Seph had to deal with last week. That's
Absolutely.
Good.
Also, I wanna say this out loud. You Street Fighter motherfuckers aren't slick. We said it's a PS4 only tournament, and it says what console you're on. I see you.
Wait,
I can see you
we
with
didn't say
my
it was
eyes.
PS4 only.
Yeah, it was.
Not for Street
Street
Fighter.
Fighter 5 is PS4 only.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No. We what do you call it? We definitely said it was PS4 only to mitigate the crossplay issues that might occur. But I don't know. We haven't changed that recently, and no one agreed to change it.
We said that.
But here we are
But
with
crossplay.
yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, but MK has crossplay, and we limit that as well. So I'm not sure. I didn't know if the ruling was the same on Street Fighter.
And Street Fighter, man, every match I was looking at on stream, like half of those dudes were on PC. I was like, come on, bro. Like, you didn't read the rules at all.
We can huddle back up and decide if we're going to keep that ruling or not. I have mixed feelings about it, I guess, but whatever. As long as it behaves better. So CFN. I feel like every podcast now we have to have like a CFN check for the week. Like what's CFN check in for the week. It's shit.
It's shit.
We'll see you next week.
NT with the weather.
And over here we have a nice Skullgirls bracket going on.
And that's
all right, so let's cap out our last tournament. We had Grand Blue, which, surprising to all of us, had the lowest entrance after being dominant for almost 2 months straight. It was only 15 people, but from what I heard, the quality was not any lower than any of the other weeks. Also, shout outs to Grand Blue System again. Like, damn, is it nice having something like that to run online tournaments?
It was kind of nice.
I guess we're running gear now. Does that mean we're running gear?
No, because we only do one game per, and if we put gear up, then either nobody's gonna sign up for Grand Blue or nobody's gonna sign up for gear.
Yeah, because then we'd be splitting communities. Can't be splitting communities, but looks like Macho taking first with T-Bola in second and Shenanigans in third. I was not able to catch any of it, so if you guys were, feel free
I didn't
to
get
jump
to catch
in and
a single moment.
fill me in.
It.
I think that's like the first Grand Blue tournament you've not watched, Dom, despite not playing the game.
Yeah, dude, that's the first time I dodged Grand Blue, and in exchange, I got Street Fighter 5.
Happens that way. I think the matches were good. I think that the thing I was most curious about was the run back between T-Bola and Macho, and we got it. We got the double run back, actually. We got winners finals and grand finals. Macho defeated T-Bola in winners finals, repeating history. It was 3-1 this time instead of 3-2, but T-Bolo came back in losers finals, and Macho made the switch to Matera, which he had been playing originally at the very, very beginning of Grand Blue. He's been playing Matera before he picked up Lancelot, and Matera got some buffs, got some anti-air buffs on her crouching heavies, and also got a buff on her butterfly for more set play. And Macho made the switch to Matera, and it really worked. Like, it changed the game plan completely. T-Bolo was using Lil Wayne for the beginning of Grand Finals, and it was going back and forth. He ended up resetting the bracket too, right, Seb?
Yeah,
Yep.
he resetted the bracket with only Lil Wayne. It was the Lil Wayne Lancelot match.
Yeah, the reset was 3-1 for T-Bolo.
Yeah, so pretty dominant. Then Macho made the switch to Matera, and it worked out really well. So shout outs to Macho for, pulling the old pocket knife out of the back pocket and going to work.
Yeah, the pocket knife was called set play. That's the strongest set play that's the strongest knife you'll ever have.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when you get jumped in the hood, you get knocked down, and somebody picks you up, and they just let you just keep getting beat up, and then somebody picks you back up.
The
and
King
restand. It's someone you weren't fighting before. It's like a brand new person. Like, why are you even here? What's going on?
That definitely happened to me when I was a kid, man. I got jumped in grade school. I got knocked down. I got picked up by someone else that I wasn't being jumped by in the first place. Knocked down, picked up by a second dude. In the end, I think it was 8 people.
Damn.
I was just getting beat up by 8.
I'm glad everyone in school knew I would just lose the fight, so they didn't even bother.
No, that was not the rules in Chicago, man. Like, if you knew you were gonna lose the fight, you were getting jumped.
The strongest set play is the set play where you make it so your opponent can't play the game.
Yeah. I never.
Is that a CFN joke? What are you trying to say, NT?
It means I get knocked down.
Oh my god.
Oh no. All right, that's the podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be
cut
back
it.
next
Cut it,
week.
Seph.
But other than that, I think LKO has been running a smooth, tight ship. We do our best, and shout outs to all our donators. It is greatly appreciated because we do have to put in quite a fair bit of work behind the scenes to make it run this well. But also shout outs to all our players that keep coming back week by week. You're the reason why we do this. So shout outs to everyone that participates.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys just decided like one day you're like, I just don't want to play in any tournaments, it's like, all right, we just want to hold them. That's fine. It's all right.
I love the
when you win it, when this is all said and done, well, we could all go outside and hold hand. Man, I can't wait to hug my homies, man.
I'd love the low kick.
All right, I'm gonna call him out right now. Ham and I live in the same building, and he's not hugged me once during this quarantine, so I don't want to hear that.
I live with you. It's different. I just get to see Seph's like chest up and Dan's chest up. I just want to touch chests, okay? I want to touch chests with these people that I can't see.
I haven't touched chess with anyone either, and I live with you.
Damn.
So anyway, I like
Sad boy hours.
I think that LKO, I always give him shit, but I'm gonna shout out Ryan for forcing us at Discord gunpoint to continue to push and to improve and to add games. So if you have any like compliments or anything like, oh wow, we're continuing to push forward, the way that Ryan pushes things forward is like, yo, we're gonna do like 16 games next week, and I'm like, bro, come on, man. He's like, all right, I'll cut it down 15 games, and it's just like, come on, man. But
no,
the fact that he wants to push it forward so much, and the way if anyone's outside of Low Kick has seen Ryan and Jackson debate a topic, it's like Ryan's like, we're going to go like a million miles forward, and Jackson's like, dude, please no. And it's the way that they balance each other out. It really does allow for us to get the right amount of progress. So shout out.
It's ambition versus realism.
Yeah.
In the end, ambition always wins just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it hurts us like physically for every time. He's like, "Yo, we're gonna add 2 more side brackets to this tournament." It's like
we all get shot. We're all like,
Ryan, please, we don't have enough staff.
Dude, we all physically recoil every time Ryan suggests anything. It's like, yeah, let's have something. It's like,
we're hosting KI.
Yo, actually though, I think that'd be really cool because I think that, it was on sale because now it's not on sale. I mean, I don't know how the fuck they're still selling that on Steam for $40 fucking.
Well, here's the real tech since we're talking about it. Anyone who's interested in KI, don't get it on Steam, get it on the Windows Store or Xbox because that's where the majority of players still are. And yes, there's crossplay between all 3 platforms, but you can't do ranked mode on Steam. So I would suggest getting the Windows Store version personally.
So this is some advanced stuff, but I think maybe I'm just thinking out loud, but I think KI would be pretty cool because we already did Skullgirls, which has solid netcode, but KI, KI wins again. I think that'd be pretty cool because you'd get and we could open it up to everybody because why
KI
wouldn't
has one of the best netcodes in fighting game history, so why not?
And then just kind of let that play out. Now, mind you, I'd have to buy KI. We'd have to get a TO for it because at this point,
I'm in there. I love KI.
We have officially made it to the point where I think we've expended all of the staff on low kick to make sure that LKO can run all of it. Yeah. But it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every single member gets utilized.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I don't think that there's anyone that's not doing something at this point. It's tough, but I wouldn't mind seeing KI. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to see KI, hit us up at either the Low Kick Discord, DMs, email, EX Saturdays, Discords, it's not Discord, sorry, Twitter or email, and let us know. I think it would be interesting to see. I played old school KI, like Killer Instinct Gold, Killer Instinct 2. I haven't played the newer one, but I've watched a ton of KI, the newer one, just because I watch Maximilian streams, right? So if you've watched Maximilian streams, you've seen KI,
or Sajam actually. Sajam has been playing it on stream again recently.
I didn't know he was playing it on stream again because he keeps fucking up the goddamn category system on twitch.tv/Sajam by saying every time his face is on the screen, he does Sajam is streaming Street Fighter V, and then he switches the game, but by then I'm not checking. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why he does that.
The only time I've actively watched KI was on complete accident. I walk in the room and KI is on, and I'm like, there's nothing else to watch, so I guess I'll watch KI. And it's because I've never played KI growing up. I don't play KI now, and the game, when it was launching on Xbox, I was like, I'll never play that game. And I was not that deep into fighting games, so I was just like, I'll just never play Killer Instinct, I guess. But I got Street Fighter V, so that feels cool. And then I still don't understand a lot of the systems. I don't you guys were telling me, I was talking about a combo breaker, and then you were saying there's another system that I'd never heard
counter
of.
breaker.
A what?
Yeah.
A counter breaker.
I
don't know what the fuck.
If we're bringing in KI, I will be the KI head because way back when it was released on Windows, I was all over that, and I have to attest to the netcode. I played something around 500 to 600 games, and I can maybe say 2 were bad.
I'm willing to try it, willing to play it. I'm willing to try it, willing to learn it, because lots of people are picking up KI right now, and I think it's because of, with all this stuff, everybody's kind of trying to play trying to play their games online, and I think KI just going on sale that once really helped it with the boost.
It definitely made the Hado's spirits soar. I know he's had some experiences in the last couple of weeks. He had his kid, it's sick, and then obviously, Combo Breaker getting closed up, but he's been really happy with people talking about KI again, which is really cool. Because that means that when the Combo Breaker comes back around, maybe some online warriors will become offline players.
I also want to give a shout out to the Idolan saying it's great having Ki on in the background in the house again. It's like that. That's heartwarming right there.
That is really nice. Because I know that feeling, right? Like, for me, that game is Final Fantasy X. Like, I'm just like, oh, there's nothing else going on. I guess I'll just click. And then, I'm like, time to watch Camper speed run it again, right? But it feels super good to be able to have something that you love on just chilling in the background. You don't have to interact with it. It's just nice that it's there. It's like having like a statue of something. You just look at it and you just appreciate it.
So anyway, play KI, because I will play KI with you. I love KI, and I hope all of my fellow LK members will take an interest in it, because I will definitely play with you guys. It's got
somebody buys it for me.
Someone buys it. Yeah.
It was on sale, guys. Come on.
It's on sale. It was on
It
sale.
was on sale.
You had your chance, and you let it drop.
Time machine? I don't have a fucking DeLorean.
I'll let it drop again.
I can't do anything about that right now.
But I imagine it will go back on sale, so
I'm sure.
there's probably a second chance coming up soon.
Yeah, especially I think that with the way that it was received when it went on sale, like where it did this whole Mark of the Wolves thing where everybody's like, ooh, and came back, they probably are going to do it again just to get more people in the pool. I think that'd be the wise decision. Because, like, if you check Twitch, there's a lot of people playing that game right now. There are people, I don't know KI players at all. And I remember this year at Frosty Faustings, I was watching an Ultra Street Fighter 4 side tournament, which was sick, by the way. And I was standing next to a guy, and he was playing, I think he was playing Rose. And he was like, yeah, man, I'd like to think I'm pretty nice at fighting games. I'm like, yeah, those Rose combos were sick, dude. That was really tight. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to get like second or third at this. I'm like, damn, confident. And then I was on Twitter the other day, and it's fucking Nikki. Like, this dude is ridiculous at fucking KI.
Nikki is one of the best players at KI.
And I was like, God damn, this keeps happening.
Meeting celebrities by accident.
Yeah, just like casually talking to somebody at a tournament, and they're just like, I think I'm pretty decent at games. And then they're just really, really humble, and then they shit on everyone.
All right.
I actually did peep the KI directory in Twitch yesterday, and there were a lot of old heads still streaming it, and I think that's great to see. The only thing I wish KI didn't do was release exclusive on Xbox. I know we covered this either last week or the week before, but like that really hurt KI. But at least I could say it's making its second stride in life right now, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. That game launched at console release, right? And it was a free-to-play game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was free to play at start, so you were allowed to have one free character per week, and it would switch every single week. And that back when it launched, season 1 was a very small roster. It was maybe 8 or 10 fighters, and then season 2 blew up, and like it's up to like 32 characters now. It's pretty expansive, and there's a lot of guest characters actually. Like you have Arbiter from Halo, you have General Rom.
General Rom, the only character in the game.
General Rom is a grappler, and he's one of the greatest grapplers. I play General Rom too.
I like Rash. I love Battletoads.
Unironically?
Yeah, Rash is in there, dude. Yeah.
Yo, Dan Spacey said, "What's wrong with
Battletoads?" Or do I unironically is he in the game?
No, unironically enjoy Battletoads.
Yeah.
Battletoads Double Dragon was tight.
Oh man, I can't do it, man. That's Struggle City.
You don't like beat 'em ups, so please stop.
You don't like beat 'em ups?
I don't like beat 'em ups.
Oh,
I was like, yo,
Ham, stop.
I actually want my.
Dude, I'll be in Streets of Rage 4. I'll do it.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 4 is coming out, and Streets of Rage 4 looks sick.
I'll jump in that.
You can set the retro sprites.
I was like, yo, who's playing Streets of Rage 4 with me? Crickets.
No, me. What do you mean? Oh, Streets of Rage 4.
Did you respond to the tweet?
I didn't see the tweet.
I just want to say that Dan asked me to play River City Girls like a year ago, and we still haven't done that.
Okay.
I have River City Girls, but I haven't.
Damn.
I'll take that shot.
Hey, I just want to throw out there that Mr. Kick's in the Discord throwing information at us. Xbox Game Pass. If you have it, you can play KI for $5.
Damn it!
All the characters.
That I don't
Definitive
know.
Edition.
So yes. Yeah, it sounds like every character then.
I don't have Battle Pass though, so.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to spend the V-Bucks on that. So.
What?
Well, for
Either
Game
way,
Pass,
my bad.
it's $5 for the Game Pass.
Either way, point is you should really play Ki, and I will keep saying this man's name because he really does deserve the light. The Keats, Adam Hart Keats. He was a developer on Ki. They're no longer doing development on that. That's been done for years. But he was a big reason why Ki was as good as it was.
Yeah, a real big push for rollback and. I don't know.
And so this is a good transition because the Keats is a big fighting game player. He did take fighting game community feedback into making Ki better, and I think that was a situation where it was really good because Ki has always been, for the most part, extremely balanced. I don't remember playing against any character thinking this character's absolutely busted. There's no way I can do anything.
I think it's the type of feedback that you gather from your
Actually,
too.
I take that back. Arbiter on release was really bad.
Yeah, people did say. I remember going back and watching a Sajam video and him talking about release Arbiter, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, Arbiter could do some real dirty shit on release, but he got toned down very heavily. I think it was after an Evo Japan. There was just some Japanese Arbiter that was going in and tearing people apart.
Japanese Ki players? That's.
I want to say it was a Japanese Arbiter.
You know how hard it is to make that divide too? Because in Japan, they don't give a fuck about the Xbox. They really don't care. Because they're all Sony boys. Obviously, first off, Microsoft, American company. You got that. Second off, you got PlayStation. It's already there. So the infrastructure mentally is, well, we're just going to support our people. So they, of course, don't give a shit about that console at all. And then the Xbox One came out, and it was mad expensive and objectively an inferior console.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
in every way. So of
America.
course there's not going to be a lot of people on it. So to have a Japanese Ki player at all is a, that's a treat.
Mm. Yeah, that's really cool. Even Americans were kind of really hesitant about picking up an Xbox on release, which is pretty much the only reason why I didn't really get to explore Killer Instinct. But
I think was the PlayStation a week before, or was it the Xbox that was a week before?
Oh, that's a good question.
They weren't at the exact same time, but I remember there was a stagger in it. I was interestingly enough, I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and they were saying Ki got shit on super duper hard when it came out, and I'm like, I watched a guy who had 2 brain cells.
It was PlayStation 4.
It was PlayStation 4 first. I was playing Call of Duty Ghosts at the time. I watched this man who had 2 brain cells rubbed together at the same time, and that's how he created thought. He got Ki because it was free. And after, I think it was about a month, this dude was playing ranked Jago online every fucking day. He got pretty nice. It was looking pretty decent. He was looking up tech. People, they said, oh, the game got shit on by people who don't play those kinds of games. It's that's just not true. I mean, it's anecdotal, but I literally witnessed that game bring that guy in. Now, after a while, he did fall off of fighting games, but that's because he was just it's getting really hard. He got up there, but he didn't have anybody to play against locally because I wasn't playing fighting games at the time. Not like that. I was only playing Tekken. And the only Tekken I was playing was Tag 2, and you already know that, Nightmare Simulator. But yeah, I mean, man, it's definitely, it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a complete argument to make that everybody was shitting on Ki, because even that casual dude who didn't have a brain was doing Jago combos and having a great time.
No, the last character released for Ki was Eagle, and that was a while ago.
Eagle from
Eagle.
Street Fighter. But anyway,
original character.
Did Killer Instinct launch with rollback netcode?
Yes. Yeah, Ki has had rollbacks since its inception. That was one of the biggest pushes for that game, and that's part of why it was so successful. Because, like I said, almost every single match you play is phenomenal. I was playing years ago Juicebox, and he lives in Arizona, or at the time he lived in Arizona, and that's far from here, and our connection was impeccable.
Like I said, I'm curious enough. I love this. I love the classic series, Killer Instinct and Killer Instinct 2. So I'll give it a shot. I can't say that I don't know how how I'll respond to it, but I'll definitely give it a shot. If I pick it up and a lot of other people in low kick want to pick it up, I'll definitely take a look at it. It's something
we're gonna have to find some commentators for that game, baby.
Yo, I'm in there.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be NT as first and foremost if it's an LK group, especially because like he was talking about Killer Instinct last combo breaker, so.
It's true, man. I got roped into that conversation. Yo, I said see me in KI. I said see me in KI. When we first moved in together, as a joke, he's like, I'll play right now. I was like, please.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like, oh, you want to play KI? I didn't know. Start breaking out the setup. I was like, damn.
I have it downloaded right now. You can walk over after the podcast. We can play it. We can do it right now.
I'm out, bro.
Damn, the hard out?
I'm hard out. Not because I don't care to play the game at all, but because I want to play Persona after this.
You've been saying that for days. You've been saying it for days.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, because
Seph, you ain't got no room. You're gonna play Final Fantasy VII after this. Shut up.
It's on right now.
On the topic,
of course, it's on right now.
On the topic of rollback, we did start a little bit of a Strive discussion, and I just kind of want to pick that up from there, mainly because I was talking about feedback. And since we were talking about Keats and taking feedbacks for fighting games, Strive is obviously having its closed beta this coming weekend. For those of you that filled out the survey at Frosty Faustings, you should be getting an email from Arxis at some point about information on downloading the beta, et cetera, et cetera. I'm curious to see. Okay, so I have two curiosities. One is just because I love the internet and it always provides laughter. And the second one is actually a serious curiosity. The first one, the serious one, is I wonder how much of the system has actually changed. And I wonder if they will be doing a secondary feedback poll to say like, hey, what did you think? Are they going to do incremental feedbacks, or is this just like, this is what it is now, right? So that's my first curiosity. The second one is I wonder how many people are going to complain because there's no rollback because they just didn't read that they were like, yeah, this one is delay based. I just wonder how many tweets we're going to see with people like, they said it was rollback and it wasn't.
They said there was going to be rollback.
I'm going to throw the smoke right now and say, please God, tell me they changed the UI. That UI is so
no, UI is staying the way it is this week.
Oh no, dude!
By far, bar none, including Street Fighter 1, with the fucking health bars on top of each other. That is the ugliest UI I've ever seen. The ugliest. Why did they put the player icons in the health bars moving towards the like? That is really distracting.
It's whack.
Why
dude.
is the tension gauge so small? Why? Like, that is something they said. Like, if you read like their developer stuff that's been published on Twitter, they said, yeah, we're gonna change the UI. But they also said that they were like, I mean, we were pretty confident with that UI. We thought you'd like it, but you guys didn't in the feedback, so I guess we'll change it. But when they came out with the beta, with the initial demo, they were like, yeah, that UI is not final. They said that. So basically, they went for the triple OS. They were like, okay, the UI is not final. Then everybody played the beta. Then they said, I guess we gotta change it because everyone hated it. It was like, so you were gonna leave it like that?
Yeah, it's real sketch. And Fiendmaw in chat also saying that you can't see the risk gauge. Like, yeah, that is an integral system to Guilty Gear, and you could barely see it because I want to say it's like underneath the character portrait, and it barely is visible. It's like not even a 1/16 of an inch wide. Like, it's real small.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Strive because at Frosty Faustings we had our stage, and our stage was adjacent to the Strive demo.
Yes.
So like I'm just looking over like as like Seph is streaming and Chase is like, I haven't slept for 24 hours, bro. Like I looked over to the right and there was somebody doing Pop Buster and I was like, yo, this is sick. And then I looked at the health bars and I was like, this can't be real. Like they're not gonna
like. I understand it's going for a minimalist look, but like it's so gross compared to what 20.
Yo, even the colors, dude. Even the colors.
Xrd did real well. Like it's so weird. Like, I don't even know how to describe like the thought process behind it. Because Xrds UI, its characters, that game looked beautiful. That was the first thing that people said is like, this is probably the best looking fighting game that's ever come out. Like at this point in time.
Yeah, that's
and
facts.
It's basically still true.
I have a friend of mine that she's an animator, and that's what she does. Like, she loves doing that. And the first time she saw Guilty Gear, I was like, yo, I just want to show you what this game looks like. We were at fucking Applebee's at like 1 p.m. and I was like, yo, look at this game. And I showed it to her, and she's like, what style of animation are they using here? Like, I don't even understand. And she's like, oh, wait, it is 3D. And she's like, this is fascinating. I can hardly tell that this game is like a 3D animated game. It looks like it's hand-drawn in its own weird ways. It's incredible looking. And I was like, look at this UI. Look at the character selection. It's like, this is an all-together, great, well-put-together fighting game. I was like, now look at Dragon Ball FighterZ, though. And I showed her that. She's like, this is mind-blowing. Arc System Works has always made really pretty games, and their presentation is a really big element of it. So to have weak presentation in their very vastly different game, I think will hold it back. Because presentation, as we know, has brought together people who would otherwise not be playing games. Example, if you took out slow-mo in Tekken 7, it would have ruined the
I gotta interject.
The wake-up
here,
super herd around the world.
Let's just put the bullet in the heart. MVCI. That game has been touted as gameplay phenomenal. Presentation-wise,
yeah, I mean, but that's like a combination of... There's a lot of emotional stuff that goes into MVCI.
Yeah.
I know Macho is in the chat right now, and he's probably not going to be feeling it, because everybody knows that everybody misses the fucking X-Men. So everybody already, like... First off, when you saw Chun-Li's face the first time...
Oh, God.
When everybody saw Chun-Li's face, they're like, this game is hideous.
And then they saw Dante looking like
they saw Dante, and they were like, what the hell did they do? And I think the worst part was they released the demo. I think it was after E3. They released a demo of the game, and you got to see it, and I was like, this character select screen is kind of weird. Like, I wasn't even, like, fucking with fighting games that heavy at the time, and I was like, this character select screen kind of sucks. And where are all the cool characters? What the hell's happening here?
Okay, so you really just put a briefcase on the table and was like, look what I got, guys. Open it up, and it was a ticking bomb. But that's cool. We're here now. The bomb's counting down. And here we are. So MVCI, it is...
Dan's going in with the pliers, trying to figure out which wire to cut.
Well, I mean, I'm going to preface this with what Macho said. He did say in the chat, he said that in motion, the game doesn't look bad. And I'll agree with you.
Yeah,
but the reason that it doesn't is because you really can't see, like, the really integral details of, like, a character. Because you're not, like, when you're doing sick-ass combos, you're not looking at your character's face, right? But the thing is, they really, really drove a story as an important element of the game to bring in newcomers. But then the characters looked awful. What the fuck happened to Chris Redfield's face, bro? What happened?
Remember that rumor where it was just like, oh, Disney asked Capcom to make all the Capcom characters not appealing, so that way people would want to play the Marvel characters
They also
more?
did that in the trailers. They said the Marvel characters can't be the ones getting hurt, which is super whack.
I think that, like, there's like a billion reasons why we can assume why it looks the way that it does.
That's a scary reason, though.
Well, Disney owns the world. We already know that.
Yeah.
It's about to be Amazon.
Anyhow, going back to Strive, I'm curious to see what their follow-up will be for this particular beta. I honestly never thought that they were going to leave that UI. Like, it's Arc Sys Works. Like, come on. Like, I never thought they planned on leaving that UI. The dude who makes the game, voices one of the main character, plays on a guitar, and runs around.
He makes the music for the fucking game.
That's what I'm saying. Makes the music for the game, runs around at conventions, saying Bandit Bringer and Gunflame. Like, this is not the type of person that would.
That's so sick.
So, like.
And if you look at every
if I ask Harada right now, like, if
I'm checking. I don't know what's going on. Internet's still up, but
hey, we back in there.
All right,
let's go.
Hopefully it was just Twitch side.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying is that when people complain about something in a development cycle, oftentimes they kind of like, I think America is pretty good at receiving information. As Americans, we're like, we want to do more for you. How can we help you? And then, you know, American NRS players, a lot of the times will go, we hate Liu Kang. Liu Kang's a bitch. We can't stand Liu Kang. Why is he safe on this move? Why is he plus here? Blah, blah, blah. And they go, man, they really hate Liu Kang. Whereas in Japan is like fucking pulls out a pack of Newports, fucking go, man, fuck them kids, and immediately ignores them. That's the first thing they do. They don't care. So, like, when you have NRS, they go, we listen to our community, and what happens throughout the cycle...
Hey, that's the right off the screen. I want to get TOS.
What happens in that development cycle is that oftentimes what the players will start to say that the game is boring because they have toned the game down so much from all the cheap shit that they have made the game hard to be entertaining. So I think it's weird that they have that problem. Like, America has that problem where American developers do listen and they create the boring issue. Whereas in Japan, they generally don't listen.
I hope that in terms of feedback too, a lot of people took note about the sound design in Strive too, because I remember somebody making this point. I think it was Majin Obama made the point how in Strive, or rather in Xrd, like, and in previous Guilty Gears, all the sound effects are like guitar riffs and like metal clanging and like everything is just rock. It's so sick how metal the navigating the menus and the UI and stuff and the clashes and everything. Whereas in Strive, it's all it's all bubbly and it's all whack and it's all soft. And Macho in the chat talking about how like sound design is very, very important because he said MVCI has really, really good sound design despite its, you know, really off visual design in some areas. I hope that Strive kind of, while we're talking about like UI and visuals and presentation, sound is also extremely important. So with people, I know a lot of people are talking like smell of the game is like overplayed and it's like kind of, they don't want to hear it anymore.
It is overplayed.
I'm like, bro, no, like that's...
I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. If I hear smell of the game one more time, if I hear that as bullshit blazing, I'm coming at somebody with a fucking bat.
Damn,
they really did it. They played that song in every trailer. And unlike something... The problem is, I think that it's a vocal track, and vocal tracks easily would get outplayed. Like, if you followed Soul Calibur 6 through its development cycle, when they released a new character trailer, they always played the same one, the character select scene. But it was like, it's like innocuous. You know, the song's pretty good, but it doesn't really hurt anybody to just hear it over and over again, especially because you're going to hear it 1,000 times. So when I boot up the character select screen in that game, it's nostalgic. You boot up Smell the Game, you hear Smell the Game that many times. I've heard that the line, that is bullshit blazing, and I've seen it in every chat room. It gets really saturated.
I sang it in the
really
shower
fast.
like 2 days ago, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, like, I think the song, like the full song is very weak. It's just the chorus that is good. And I like the chorus, but Ham's right. Like, the song will get played out before the game even drops, and it already is played out.
Imagine that is the main theme of the game when you start it. When you start the game, you turn it on, and that's the music that you hear at your locals looping because it's already done demo mode.
I don't think it is because it's Soul Bad Guys theme. So I don't think it is. But I like hearing vocals. Dude, you know what's the sickest shit in like anime, watching movies or anything like that? When there's a fight scene and then you hear the vocals come into the song, that's hype. That increases
those are always
super.
Those are always tight.
Those are always tight. And it's the same for fighting games for me. If I play a fighting game and then the vocals kick in,
you can't compare because in anime it only happens once.
Yeah,
We've already heard Smell of the Game like 3,000 times.
Every trailer, every tournament.
You have taken this special thing and stretched it across the entire thing. So in this one instance where it would have been special, it's no longer special because
it happens
you've used it.
Coolly. And Eureka 7. In some parts of Naruto. But That's not the point. The point is, it's probably going to be like as we get closer and closer to Strive's release, and yeah, using that song to promote it for so long was probably like every song gets played out, you play it too much, right? I don't know if they understood how good it was.
I think that we're going to hear it obviously 1,000 times more, right?
Yeah.
But it will have its moments where it's really impactful still. It's not that the song isn't good. There are parts of the song that I'm like, it's cool. But there are other parts of the song where I'm like, this is tight. I think it's still going to have its impact at certain things. Like the first time you're at a large tournament and you hear it playing over the speakers, it's going to be hype, right?
Yeah.
Like
For
sure. Or whatever. Like it's going to be hype. It won't lose its impact, but it is something about the vocal tracks that specifically cause you to feel that you remember it more, and it gets tired faster. Just like with Existence from Grand Blue, Beelzebub's thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I love that song. Song is tight, but like if I'm grinding a set, I don't want to hear Existence like 1,000 times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's also like Indestructible from Street Fighter 4.
Oh God, stop!
I don't
Stop.
like hearing
Yo, everybody knows the words to that.
That was
Don't
already
like-
bad on start. Like no,
Why do people sing it? Why do people sing it every time
because
it's on?
because they heard it
bigger.
1,000 times, dude. I can sing the songs that I hate the most because they're so overplayed. I get to listen to the same 12 songs while I'm at work
Yeah, but
because they're played over a speaker.
When was that song good enough to warrant learning the lyrics, dude?
Because
it'll
when you have to
happen.
listen to
It'll
it
happen
1,000
in your
times,
brain.
Seph.
When I worked at a warehouse and I had to I know every word to Broken Wings by Mr. Mister. Another One Bites the Dust. I know there are so many songs I know verbatim, specifically because I've heard them 1,000 times.
Seph.
Indestructible.
No, Seth, do
easily
you know the lyrics to "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey?
Not all of them.
I do.
But I get your point.
I do. Ham does. I'm sure Dan does. Why do we know it? Because we've heard it ever since we were born. Because that is one of the most overplayed songs in music history.
There's not a single karaoke session. Well, at like a bar, there's not a single person karaoke session.
Right. So when you listen to a song for a year, you're gonna learn the lyrics whether you want to or not.
Why Indestructible? Why not a cool song like the Street Fighter Cross Tekken opening song? Like,
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was not an 09er, so when everybody started talking about Indestructible,
I was an 09er and we shit on it.
I thought that it was you guys were talking about Disturbed, Indestructible, and I was like, yo, that'd have been sick. That song is tight. Wait a minute. Dan is silently mouthing. Is everything okay, Nan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's upset. He doesn't like Indestructible either.
These motherfuckers don't like Indestructible. I love that song.
No.
No, don't put words.
Don't put words in my mouth. Get that shit out.
So I want to go back to Street Fighter V's launch because they had like 3 or 4 betas. Now, I'm not saying this to shit on it. I need you guys to help me recall. The feedback forums, what came of those? Because I truly don't remember. I just remember there being a lot of negative feedback from players.
One that I remember immediately in terms of feedback was I remember people from the get-go were pissed off about crush counters. And they're still pissed off about crush counters, right? The first beta didn't work. Like you could barely find a match, and the net play was worse, much worse than it was just like at launch. So there was just a lot of because its rollback is just not implemented well, but during the beta it was just like infinitely worse. And then there was this combination of what was it like? Oh, V systems are stupid. V systems are broken. Zoners are bad. Like people could kind of get that from the get-go immediately. I remember just people playing Street Fighter V and being like, "This doesn't feel like Street Fighter. This is not Street Fighter at all." And it was just because of how slow, how boring, and how unplayable it was. And I think that when you have this humongous general consensus of just negativity from the get-go, it's really difficult to pick out actual meaningful feedback because it all is saying the same thing, but some of it is worded better. But to a developer, it's just like, they're all like specific concerns, right? They're all generally concerns that they need to take seriously, but they're still looking for something to address specifically, you know? So
yeah, like
Strive,
if everybody's just shitting on you all day, but like, because like for something like as simple as me and Dan like doing commentary, NT likes doing commentary, you like doing commentary, you would go, the place you would probably go to get your information is the Twitch chat, because that's where people are going to be talking about what they hear. And if you suck, it's going to be, this guy's trash, this guy's trash, this guy's trash. It's going to be all poorly written. It's Twitch chat, VIA faces. You know, it's going to be the ATP RTSD4 over and over and over again. And you're going to get shit on. And there's going to be one guy that's like, this guy never finishes his thoughts. And it's going to be so hard to get to that because of all of the other stuff that criticism is almost unfound. Yeah. Because you have to be able to steel yourself through all of the anger to get to the truth, and some developers don't have the heart for that, man.
Yeah, and with this weekend, this is the first like open access beta for Strive, right? This is the first one that people are gonna able to take home and play home.
Yeah. I mean, it's closed access, but I know what you mean, like online, not at a tournament.
Online, exactly. So this feedback from this weekend is going to be some of the most important that ArcSys is gonna get. But people are already on a really positive note with Strive outside of its UI and outside of visuals. And then like, yeah, the air dash thing, when they implemented that, people were really pissed off about it. But since then, no one's really said anything. In terms of like when they actually play it and they feel it, they're just like, it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah, because there's a big disconnect from looking at something and thinking you understand it and then actually doing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so,
and I think that I hope that when they put out this beta, that the information is well received and it's actually constructive. Because if it's not, or if they misinterpret what people are trying to communicate, I just don't want a suboptimal gear to come out. Because Chicago loves gear. That is like their shit. Like when that game comes out, everybody's gonna be like, "Fuck Grand Blue." Never heard of her. Immediately. Man, I was experimenting with fucking Street Fighter. Fuck Street Fighter. Tekken, fuck Tekken. Soul Calibur, never heard of her. You know, like every game is gonna get just gone. It's gonna be washed straight out of the wind. If you play an anime game, you're playing Guilty Gear.
I've said this before.
No one's gonna be playing anything else.
Gear is literally so big. We have a major named after Gear.
Yeah.
Frosty Faustings.
In Chicago, if you play anime games, you're playing Gear. Like you're just going to play Gear. Like that's just the way it is. Like NT said, we have a major named after her because Elvin Shadow, shout outs to him, but everybody in Chicago that plays anime games has at least touched Gear, and most of them still actively play Gear.
That's facts. And like the thing is, like even when it's like at a weird like in between period, right? Where like, hey, we're kind of just experimenting with this other stuff. You hit somebody up for Gear, with the exception of yesterday for Final Fantasy VII's release, you already know what it is. They're going to be playing Gear. So if the game comes out and it's badly received, I don't want the divide that can inevitably happen with games. You know, the UMVC3 versus MVCI, the Tag 2 versus 7. Or, I don't want those things to happen. I don't want there to be a Strive versus Xrd 2.
Or like
that kind of disconnect is really tragic for games because you essentially lose half of your community by doing that. And Seph, you're right. Street Fighter 4 versus 5 was a big part. There were a lot of people who played 4 who absolutely refused to play 5 and still do. Like Punko, I know, was one of the big ones. Like, I fucking hate 5. I don't want to play.
Yeah, but that motherfucker still plays that shit. I see him.
I mean, he does, but like he begrudgingly does.
Yeah, it's like Sanford Kelly said some time ago. When they were talking to him, I think it was on No Frills. They talked to him. Basically, what they said was, you don't seem to like Street Fighter 5 that much. What is it that makes you keep playing? It's like it's competitive. This is the game where people compete. You don't want to play a game that's kind of dead. You want to play the game that's active, so that you have something to compete for against people who are actively grinding the game. So, like, Xr's probably going to be on a hiatus for a while until people get out of that honeymoon phase. I think that if Strive comes out and it's like kind of whack, we will see people play Xrd, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Ham mentioned it last week that DOA is now dead. Like, if you come at me and say you're the world best at DOA, I don't care, because I know that no one is competitive in your game. You probably beat a maximum of 7 other people. Like, maybe there was an 80-90 person tournament. Like, it's not that impressive. Whereas you go look at Street Fighter, you go look at Tekken, you go look at Guilty Gear, there are 1,800 people plus in those tournaments, and you say you're the world best, I'm gonna be like, God damn, this guy must be so good.
This guy must be ridiculous. And I think that, winning an 80-90 person tournament's like,
that's so respectable. Don't get me wrong.
That's some crazy shit, bro. But it's different when a game is active versus a game being inactive, because so a lot of people, they treat that old game like it's their, their old side girl, right? They still, maybe every once in a while they'll boot it up, do some trials on it, but otherwise they're not labbing the game. So when you're beating somebody on something that's a little bit older, you're not getting them at their best. Whereas if you play a game where they are at their best, you know that you had to work for it because everybody's putting forth their best effort. And if you're a fighting game player that doesn't have that competitive drive, maybe stick to running brackets or something, bro. I don't know, but you're not entirely in the right mindset going into competing.
Also, that's not like an insult to anybody, because I'm pretty sure that's what all of us on Low Kick do. I'm not competitive enough to compete. I run brackets.
I'm not shitting on people who run brackets, but like, if you love fighting games but you don't love them enough to compete, I understand entirely. But like, if your mindset isn't there, then it's not there. It's okay. Some people will do other things. I was talking about this last week with somebody else. If you like fighting games, but you just suck and you don't think you could ever get better, you can still do things to contribute to the community and make it better. That's just how that usually works. You have the chick that was like the Cetrion cosplayer at CEO. She looks sick. I don't know if she's really good at Cetrion, but I know that that was really cool. And then she walked out on stage with them. So you can still contribute to the fighting game community while sucking at fighting games. But if you're not a competitor, you're not a competitor. It's fine.
I would argue that a lot of artists probably don't compete. They just really like the aesthetic of each game and make amazing art.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, and for it to be a full community, it needs multiple types of members in it, right? Like because there's some things that players don't care about at all. Like, they're like, I don't care about that shit. Like, they don't care. But there are other people who care about, how like organizing, or they get their reward out of organizing a sick tournament, or running brackets really well, or problem solving, or, stream production. Like, so you can still play the fighting game, right? Enjoy the fighting game, but you don't ever have aspirations to be like, I'm going to be the world best. But you can still really love the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Literally, my only goal when it comes to playing fighting games is just to not go 0-2. I want to be good enough to not go 0-2 in bracket. I'll be a pop monster, that's fine, but I don't want to go 0-2.
I think it's
man, if I ever go 0-2 at a local again, I would. I can't remember the last time I have, and I think it would crush my spirit, but it would definitely revive some of the juices, because sometimes like I stagnate, and if I stagnate, it becomes more possible. I'll be damned.
A lot of it, when it comes to like dipping into a scene or a competitive scene or an esports scene or whatever it may be, any sort of community like that's based around that, you kind of want to find what resonates with you early on. Like, if you immediately recognize I'm not a player, then you can kind of sift around and figure out what you are. Like, if you do want to do art, if you do want to do cosplay, or if you do want to just organize, like it sometimes it takes some time. Like, thank God I went through all the motions before I even joined the FGC, because I tried to be a League of Legends pro player for years. I like worked at it and grinded League for years. Like the way that competitive players do for fighting games, like where they play like 16 hours a day, but where they don't really do that, because they gather meaningful data and they don't just like grind out the time. I went through the motions with that. I went through the motions with Overwatch. I did want to be a pro Overwatch player, and then eventually I was just like, I'm not good enough. I'm just gonna be an analyst or some shit like that. And then when I did get into the FGC, it wasn't like I'm gonna be a pro player. I was just like, maybe I'll just be a commentator or something. and now I host tournaments. So you see, like, you'll go through the motions. Right? You'll go through the motions of like, how do I want to slot myself into this community? How do I want to feel like I belong, or how can I feel like I contribute, whether it be as my skill as a player or my skill as a community member, like a people person or organizer. You know, like
it's almost like changing your major in college. Like you think
yeah.
you want to do something, but then partway through, you're like, no, this is not actually what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go change my major to that. I don't think I like that either. Let me change my major to this. Okay, I think I finally found the place that I want to be.
And like all things in college, it costs you metric shit tons of money, but you'll get there eventually, baby.
I didn't do that whole process because I couldn't figure it out from the get-go. I was just like, I'll just go when I figure it out. So
exactly. That's why I haven't gone to college. Shout out to college.
Figured it out. Shout out to college for, you know, trying to take my money. You ain't getting it.
You're not getting my money until I know what I want, okay? I'm old and I still don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, today is Seph's birthday.
Stop.
Yeah.
Hey, that's right. Happy birthday, Seph.
I don't want to bring it up on the podcast. But
He's so cute.
Can we
Anyway,
get some happy
so
birthdays for Seph
talking
and-
about like being a community member and everything like that. If you guys, when the stuff does come back, you don't want to be a pro player. There are a lot of areas for you. Don't worry.
See, that's the thing. I've seen it. I know, like, there are people who just show up every week and they play casuals, and that's it. And I think that's so cool because they're just there to just play, and that's like that's it. That's all they want. They just want to play the game and have a good time. Then there are people who are like, I think I'm pretty nice, but they're not, and they get dunked in like round 3. But that's when they start to get there. Then you have the guys that are consistently good, and they're sitting there late into the evening, you know, sitting down, exchanging tech. Then you have the people who are actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
And they are dunking their way through the bracket as per usual, take the money and leave. There are different tiers of just player, and then you have the people that just chill. There's definitely for example, like Gunpaw. Shout out to that guy.
Gunpaw, dude.
Yeah.
Gunpaw literally just chills. Maybe he'll play some casuals. He just likes the people.
Yeah.
And I think that like it's really cool that the FGC is open enough where you would just willingly spend money to sit down next to a group of people and watch them interact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then support them outside of that too, because he'll pop into the streams just like any of our streams and just say hello. He's the curly W in the making, dude. He's the new one.
Yeah, it's coming, man. He's gonna have 5 monitors next week.
Gunpaw is,
and that's just the start.
Yeah, but to bring it back towards the divisive community, when the new game comes out, like Strive, and how we're hoping that it's not going to be a Street Fighter V situation. What you can do is like, the game comes out, and you want to hop on the bandwagon or anything, that's fine. There's a lot of areas for it. Whether you're going to be a player or whether you're going to because in all honesty, I feel like even if you do go back into Xrd, if you are a pro player, yeah, that's where it kind of sucks. But if you're just like a regular community member, then that happens everywhere. Like, I'm willing to try out KI, never having touched KI before in my life. And if I end up liking it and I end up playing more KI, that's good. That's good for KI and that's good for me. Whereas if Strive comes out and people who have never touched Guilty Gear before end up loving Strive, and then they end up loving the previous games before, that's amazing. So,
yo, you know what's gonna happen? I'm calling it right now. I'm winding up the bat. You know, I'm pointing to the stands. Royal Heart is gonna be in top 3 for the first Strive tournament.
The first one. The first
100%. 100%.
For top 3. And despite the fact,
I'll go beyond that. It's gonna be Elven Shadow, the Arm, and Royal.
Ooh, you're calling it now?
You call him the whole
Damn! All right, hold up. This is getting interesting. Chat room.
You know
what? We're calling that pocket right there.
I think it'll go.
Damn.
I think it'll go Elven Shadow, Arm, Royal Heart.
Because I was just saying top 3. I'm saying just top 3, not rankings.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna break it down to rankings now.
Damn. Yo, Q-Ball in the chat said he isn't wrong. Damn. All right, hold on. I'm mixing it up. I'm gonna throw Kizzer in there.
Ham.
I'm
gonna take it.
I say that it's gonna be Royal, it's gonna be Elven Shadow, and it's gonna be Kizzer. The mix.
Wow. I think
man. I think Armando's too good for that.
Arm's way too good.
I know, but
Kizzer's good too.
Kizzer got that little splash of Wild Boy. Well,
Kizzer's got that big old dose of I don't give a fuck. Like Dan was being really nice about it. Kizzer is one step away from being the underscore of Guilty Gear, man. That guy does not care.
Full
and that's him in all games. Imagine if Kizzer plays Street Fighter, dude.
Yeah.
Watching Kizzer play Kai is like, you're waiting for the moment. It's like you see the internal struggle of him, like, I'm going to keep it composed. I'm going to play smart. And the other side of him, like, I don't give any
DP
fucks.
right now.
I'm
DP right now.
I'm cracking right now.
Greet Sever immediately.
Greet Sever right now.
Yeah.
The left brain is saying, "Hey, you got to keep it cool." The right brain is saying, "No, DP,
bust out
wild.
right now.
Bust it out
Dragon
right
install.
now.
You're not even in a block streak. And it's
Actually,
just
no,
like,
I have one better. He's the sweating meme of like, which button do I press? Do I go wild boy? Do I stay composed?
Stay calculated. Mash DP.
Shout outs to Kizzer, man. I love watching that guy play because it's a countdown until when the crazy thing is when it works, it's like, man, this guy's a genius.
What a guy.
Nice to see.
And it's the same situation of like, if anyone else does like, oh dude, he's a scrub for Mash and DP on Wake Up. If Kizzer does like, damn, he's like God.
Damn, he's a genius.
Yo,
It's
that's
like
the America versus Japan, Cool Kid versus Tokido argument.
Yeah. It's the Daigo
Cool Kid wakes up wake up CA, it hits, everybody's like, what a fucking scrub. Tokido does it, they're like, what a pro player. Amazing, calculated decision. It happens every time.
Yeah.
And I know this because that happened to Tokido. Cool Kid versus Tokido, it did 3 for 3. We've all seen the clip. 3 for 3, Say Jam and the nasally voice. 3 for 3. Like, bro, you saw Cool Kid do that 3 times. Tokido did one Wake Up Super. It hit, and everybody's like, oh my god.
Dude, when Daigo does Wake Up Flash Kick and it misses 6 times, but the 7th time, he's a genius.
Yo, what a genius. That man.
Genius never ever missed anything in his life.
Like you just saw! This round, he went 6 Wake Up Flash Kicks. Not even EX. He hits the 1. Also not EX.
And then you're going to get the mental gymnastics of like, he was conditioning his opponent with 6 missed flash kicks to think that he would keep missing his flash kicks just to get him on that 7th when it mattered.
See, like, I've watched Street Fighter V with these goons in the Discord, and every time Daigo is on stream, I get fucking pissed. Every time. Because he just does it all day. And it connects, and you hear F-word and Logan, oh my god, wait, flash kick. Oh my god. I'm like, what do you mean? This man got cross-countered 4 times in 1 round, and somehow didn't die.
It's awesome.
And then it connects, and they go, what a genius. Come on, bro. How does he know?
So smart. How does he know? Does he know?
All right, so I don't think all right, let me just, I'm sorry, Dan. SNK is the worst at taking feedback. Sam Show, oh no.
They take feedback?
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Wait, there's feedback for Sam Show?
I didn't know there was feedback for Sam Show,
Dude,
and I play
what
Sam
I'm saying
Show.
is SNK is the worst at feedback because they don't take feedback. Everyone's like, SNK, please don't do this. And SNK's like, fuck them kids. Puts the cigarette in their mouth and we're doing it.
See, that's crazy to me because, like, I want Sam Show to be good, and I've had this conversation on hours with Dan in the Discord talking about, wow, I wish I could play fucking Sam Show online. And you can't. You cannot. And it's like, well, it'd be nice to be able to voice my opinion to them and say, this is something, the lobby system needs to improve. The character select screen, simple fix, put them all on one screen. Come on, bro. You can fit them. Make it work. It's not that hard. There's nowhere to submit that. I don't know. KOF's going to come out. They're going to have to hold that shit too.
And I'm pretty sure KO 14 balances are a matter of hold that shit, kid.
And I think that's, like, fine, right? Like, I think that sometimes that's okay. Because I'll say this. I said this before. The Harada versus the Michael Murray, when Harada was just like, these are the patches. Shut up, bitch. Michael Murray, these are the patches. What do you think?
Wait.
The one on the right, my right, the what do you think has been a shit show for months. Whereas Harada, who is, since the games have come out, has been like, this is what you get, and I don't care how you feel.
I'm going to wag my finger at the whole KOF 14 argument, because I know that KOF 14, there was a lot of things wrong on launch with the initial KOF 14, and now people love it. Now they love it. Whether it be balance changes, especially the visual update. I know a lot of people were talking about the game's visuals being real bad, and then SNK was like, we'll try. It's still bad, but they tried, you know?
I feel like that was something they might have been doing anyway, though. Like, is it feedback if that's something you were planning?
Were they planning it?
Probably, yeah, man. Like, they had to have known, right? Like, that game looked like dog shit.
I'm pulling the image as soon as I find it.
I'm sad that Capcom didn't try to, plan to make
Seph,
better.
Put this up on the screen.
Send it. What is it?
Put it up on the screen, and let's see. Let's see if the chat can understand. Let's see if they can find the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. See, well, chat, if you're not listening, if you're listening and you're not watching, what we're about to pull up.
Yo, he called it.
He called it. He knows.
Uh-huh.
Everyone should know this meme. Tell me what's wrong with this picture.
It's Tekken 2. Yeah.
It's Tekken 2, but there's something wrong here.
Something doesn't look quite right.
I feel like we're playing Dora the Explorer here. Like, point out what's wrong. That's Andy. That's Andy.
No.
That's Andy Bogard in the back behind me. And
Andy.
Yeah.
Who is that?
He fits in really well. Really well. That
Who
is
that.
Holy shit.
Tekken 2 came out in like 1994. KOF 14 came out in like 2015.
They're looking.
Excuse me for 1 second.
This is like an 11 or like just it's over a decade. Like, oh no, SNK.
Yeah.
Why? How do you go from KOF 13 to this?
KOF 13 has some of the best sprite work I've ever seen. And look,
facts.
I know. Okay, so KOF 13 actually took a really long time to develop because of those sprites. Because sprite work is very hard.
But here's the thing. No, here's the thing. KOF 13 will forever be eternal with like Third Strike and whatnot because the sprite work is so good.
Sprite work is fantastic. You know what I was talking to one of the French bread devs at Red Bull, and I asked him like, okay, with how long it took, how come only one character? He was like, dude, the sprite work takes like a year alone. The sprite work, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, shit. Because like they make the sprite detailed, everything, it looks great, and then frame by frame they have to do like it's hand animated, they have to basically do that for every frame. The Skullgirls argument.
Have you seen the backgrounds of KOF 13?
Beautiful. Oh my!
I can't imagine how long that took.
KOF 13 is one of the prettiest games to look at. It's like Skullgirls for me. It's a beautiful game to just look at and watch. Marvel 3, Skullgirls, KOF 13, gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, and then they go KOF 14, and it's.
But so here's the problem that I have with SNK and Sam Show. Everybody was super excited for, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna drop it on PC," and then it got left in the dark for more than a year. And it's like, hold up, like, what's going on? And it's like, yeah, the netcode, the biggest dog shit you've ever seen. It's like, wait, no, like, SNK, you have this great, beautiful piece coming out. Like, what are you doing? Just please put some assets
I think that, like, that's one of the interesting things. Like, as somebody who actually plays that game pretty often, that game came out, everybody said the netcode was trash, and then they put out a patch, and then everybody said it was better, but they were full of shit. Then after that, everybody's like, well, maybe they'll improve it a little bit more, and it didn't get improved. Then Seijan put out that video that was like him waiting for a match for a half hour 2 weeks after the game came out. I was like, come on, man. That should never happen. That should never happen.
I would go as far to say that SNK actively tried to kill their own game.
Hey, no.
I mean, I'm not saying all that.
I don't know about
It's
that.
pretty bad. Like,
But-
you can't say that they didn't, like, cut their own legs off.
Like, there's a lot of, like, it sucks in there, but the game itself is quality. But there are so many little things that they could do to improve it that are very obvious because these are things that were voiced by the community. And interestingly enough, I remember TuberWare tweeting about it. He's like, yo, you guys bitched about Sam Show, SNK came through, and they immediately fixed your problems. Why aren't you playing this game? I'm like, you didn't fix shit. You didn't fix shit. I bought that game day one. I buy every game day one. I'm a TO. I buy every game day one. Do you think I have the money to do that? Hell no. But I do it. So of course I'm going to try it, and the game didn't work. And then they decided we were going to fix it. They said to us that we were going to fix it. They did not fix it.
All right.
In some cases,
I've said, yeah, I've said my piece. Dan, I know I directed this at you. I know you're a commentator. And I know you're a big advocate for Sam Show. So I want to hear your thoughts on this one now.
I enjoy Sam Show quite a bit. I've always enjoyed it offline more, which is obvious. But what I mean to say is that unless you personally know people where it's like, yo, let's play a match online, like I've waited for 30 minutes, for 40 minutes for a match in ranked on Sam Show. I've waited. I've sat there and waited. And this is when the game first dropped. And the wild thing about it was there are other people who were posting on Twitter like, yo, I'm looking for a match. And these are people in my area who were like, yo, I'm looking for a match.
Facts.
I'm not finding anything. And we're looking at the same time. And the game just came out. So we're near the same rank. And it's just like, why is this not working? And I don't understand what happened there. And to me, if your rank system, you can do two things. If you delay your rank system and just like, hey, we're just gonna, put online casuals on for a moment, that'll help if you don't think that your online structure is going to work. If you put out your rank system and it's just immediately like you're not finding matches, blah, blah, it's gonna murder that game. Because competitively, people are going to jump in immediately. There's some people who only play ranked, like Ham. Ham's like, yo, if it ain't ranked, I ain't doing it. Right?
Yeah, facts. I play casuals with friends, but that's like rare.
The fact that the game's ranked just didn't really work, and then they were like, okay, we're going to fix some things. They changed some of the quality of life stuff for the UI, like interfacing with that. But then like the lobbies would crash even in casuals. And it's just like, it makes it really difficult. And honestly, if it wasn't for things like Ronin Rumble, I honestly think that game would be smoked, like for real.
That's facts. I think that Jeff is single-handedly, well, with the exceptions of obviously, WNF, they stream it, blah blah blah. We know that those people are keeping that game alive because the game cannot survive without the support of usually it'd be the community itself, but it is on the back of a few individuals who are holding the game together with their bootstraps going, why is no one playing this?
Well, yeah, and I just, it's frustrating. It's disappointing because I knew immediately once those lobby problems came and people were like, where everybody's looking for a match, but nobody can find them. I'm like, man, this game's going to have a hard time. It already needed to prove itself to people who didn't like Sam Show in the beginning. And it had and I'm not saying the game is dead. It's far from that. But it could have spun into like a really big cycle because I think a lot of people were looking like, oh, it's a different type of fighting game that we don't really have right now, right? So it was like, oh, this is unique. I kind of like this. Some people were immediately like, it's too slow. That's fine. It may not have been for them, but there were other people who were willing to try it. And the moment they get that online resistance, it's like, well, I'm not going to do this when I can just play a different game now, right? And that really hurts. So and
it's tragic to say because every time it's been in a tournament, it has been one of the best tournaments. Like, Dan, your clip popped up of the controller issue, and that was probably one of the funniest moments I've seen in the last year in terms of tournaments because like it made sense for the game that even an error happened and we're like, oh my god, this is the hypest thing I've ever watched because it's 30 seconds of nothing is happening and I'm on the edge of my seat. Whereas like in any other game, it's like, who cares? Like they're doing nothing. This is like I'm falling asleep. Like,
yeah, Resident Sleepers in the chat. Everybody says this game sucks. I was there. I was watching that in person.
That shit was.
I didn't know there were controller issues, and I was right behind the players.
That's the thing. Like Sam Show it's one of those games where two people down back at the same time, and you're like, yo, it's going like, you know, and it's just, it has the potential, but you got to have all of the systems behind it, especially in today's modern era, to really boost the game. So I don't know if they're going to do anything about Sam Show. I would say KOF 15, let's see what the SNK does with it. Like, to me, it's like, well, let's just see what KOF 15 looks like. And I hope, you know, for SNK's sake, that they take some of this feedback seriously and look at it. I think that it was interesting that they had Mark of the Wolves redone for a rollback. Maybe that was an experiment. I don't know. But at least they can see from Mark of the Wolves that people really do want this rollback netcode installed. And not only that, but just good online matchmaking system.
The thing that I'm most afraid of is that SNK is not they're not a rich company. Like, KOF 14 almost put them under, because for a long while they were only doing pachinko, and KOF 14 was their attempt to get back into the game industry. And I don't think it really did as hot as they wanted to. So I think Sam Show sort of saved them. And, like, I really want SNK to survive, because SNK has been there for a lot of amazing games outside of fighting games. Like, they made Metal Slug and all those amazing arcade games. SNK is a phenomenal company. But man,
they make games that are very unique looking.
They make some real shit decisions as a company.
It's it's the same thing with Sega. Like, Koei Tecmo. Koei Tecmo and Sega, actually, because they have Virtua Fighter and they ain't done shit with that. But Koei Tecmo obviously literally just dropped their pants, shit all over DOA's community, and then left. And it was bad. And they did take feedback. They did. At the end of the game's development cycle, because it's done now. They took feedback from people. They were like, yo, this is really whack. Like, why did you make these decisions? And they reverted some of those decisions. But then they just said, we're done here.
We're done.
That sucks. That really sucks. I can personally say that of the games that I play, 50% of them, because I would say I'm more of a Sam Show, Soul Calibur guy now. Those are the games that I like to play the most. Soul Calibur... I am really grateful for Okubo, because that guy is the fucking shit. That guy, you go, hey, Okubo, have you seen this clip? This is me warping through the stage here. Could you fix it? And he goes, I'll try my best. He answers, and then maybe he'll put out a patch. He goes every week. Every time there's a new patch, they put out feedback forms, we submit them, and they always do a really good job implementing changes that matter. For example, how Maru has the ding, 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 ding ring out from mid-screen, and he goes, that's not intentional. Let's get rid of it. And they're working on it right now.
And I have to stroke off our community for just a second, being part of the Soul Calibur community. The Soul Calibur community is one of the best communities, because they don't actively shit on their developer. Now, like, a la Tekken. Almost, it's a vocal minority is shitting on Murray and them. So it's not all the Tekken community, but almost any Soul Calibur community member you see, they're actively thanking Project Soul and Okubo for at least attempting to fix the game and acknowledging the issues.
The only time that Okubo has ever had that, oh no, Okubo's being whack moment was when he said that Aswell was well adjusted. Outside of that, that guy has been on the money todo dia, all day. He's been on it super hard. He listens to feedback. Things get changed. There are still glitches. There are still bugs. We know that game's budget for Bandai Namco. I know where you stand. I understand entirely. Keep doing what you're doing. Sam Show, on the other hand, is the other 50%, and I really feel like I get shit on real hard in that game. All the time. I'm like, wow, sick new character. Could you fix the fucking lobbies, bro? Please?
Yeah. I'm the only one the only Street Fighter player that doesn't say fuck Capcom.
Yeah, actually, Seph is a exclusive Capcom apologist in every way. I'm like, man, Monster Hunter's really hitting today, and he goes, yeah, thanks, Capcom. He's in there every day. Every day!
Hey,
he actually does that.
Can I get crossplay for Monster Hunter now?
Ooh.
Ooh.
We'll leave it
not
up to
gonna
the
happen,
Cap gods.
But it would be sick.
I want to play Monster Hunter with the PS4 homies.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
But anyway, yeah, who knows? Maybe Sam Show was like a testing ground for KOF 15. Maybe they have big plans for KOF 15. Maybe they're taking all the feedback for Sam Show and putting it in application for KOF 15. Because there are times where a developer will put out a game and let it die for the sake of the next game. You know, they'll take that L temporarily to just make a much better next title. And we've seen it happen a lot. You know, like Nintendo does it a lot. We've seen it happen with KOF before, back in earlier titles. Like KOF 12 was the testing ground for KOF 13, so to speak.
Yeah, we're not, but I would say that no developer's in a cushy position like they were back in the day, where budgets were, you know, super under, like way smaller than they are now. We are in an overinflated market when it comes to that. Like, you know, if you've ever read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier, that is a fascinating book. I would highly recommend the read. This is not sponsored. In that book, it talks about the failings of the development of games, if games even made their way out, or if they did, and if they didn't. And like, when you get into stuff like, hey, this is the development cycle of Destiny, and it goes, well, we spent, it was like $200 million on budget alone. Developers like SNK don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
So they don't get to take those kinds of risks anymore. If you put out a product, it's got to be good, bro. Like, you can't make it suck. People are watching. The FGC is hypersensitive to bad games. And when a game comes out and it sucks, or people think it sucks, they'll kill it dead in front of them. I'll say, unrelated note, something I wanted to bring up. There are some rumors that French Bread is trying to implement rollback netcode for used.
I really think that Strive announcing rollback and SNK putting rollback into Garo sparked a movement with all the other devs, saying that we really do care about rollback because the integrity of online almost hinges on rollback.
Well, the thing is too, like, one thing that I saw Giuna talking about once was those devs, like, they're friends. They talk, they mingle a lot. So whenever one of them makes a monumentous decision for their title, they'll talk about it internally. They'll just be like, "Hey, so you're putting rollback in Strive, huh? Yeah, I thought it was cool." And then there you go. French Bread's like, "All right, we'll try it," and hopefully it makes its way over to Capcom. And you know, because Capcom did it a while ago, and they're just like, "Yeah, ours doesn't work. All right, and maybe we'll just have to hold that." Okay, so, but they chat, they've answered. So hopefully, like you said, it sparks that whole new thing, but it sparks it even on a personal level, on their level of friendship. So hopefully it means that we're going to see it a lot quicker and a lot better implemented, because they can just share that, you know. They're not always like competing with each other. So.
And on top of that, I don't want to be negative about this, but you know, with COVID being so rampant, we all know, for Illinois at least, our quarantine is not going to end at the end of this month. It's definitely going to get extended. So if, you know, God forbid something like COVID were to happen again, like, we want to be able to come together. And as of right now, like, us as a fighting game community have a hard time coming together over anything because the connections are bad. We can't reach out to our friends, you know, whatever problem there might be.
And everybody's like really upset about it too, because they're like, you know, like the Soul Calibur was like a local community. I think only that game only survives locally. And
Chicago Soul Calibur is dead. We don't play online.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's going on. I know that I see Zendo pop on all day, but otherwise, like, I'm not seeing, like, I think Growlix hit me up for games like last week, but otherwise, you know, it's been really quiet, and that game is not going to survive a brutal winter like this. And it's partially because of this. It's got really, really, really bad connections, man. Like that. God,
so
that
here's
is
an
the
interesting
only
question.
game that makes me. I love that game, but it's the only game that makes me angry if I win, and angry if I lose.
Has fighting game developers taken local scenes for granted? Because we've never had this situation before, where, as you said, it's almost like a brutal winter. We've never had to survive months at a time where we couldn't meet up offline to help, you know, keep growing the game. So now that we do have this, are fighting game developers like, oh shit, we maybe should have paid attention to this sooner now?
I would say yes. I would say
which
for sure.
Though?
All of them.
Well, I mean, but there's some developers who, like, for instance, who put in the rollback, right? For US side, right?
Yeah, I would say, well, that's the thing. It's like, I think that NRS, for example, understands that the United States is bigger than a fucking thumb. We don't live in Japan. We don't get to hop on a train and go to California, bro. That's not how that works. We live on a country. Of course they see the importance of that because they live here. They get it.
There's also an argument where it's like, if they're thinking particularly internally or to their main audience, right? So essentially, like, Japanese developers were so heavily based around like delay-based netcode because the internet in their region is very good. So that like the gameplay elements for that they barely have any problems with their net play. Whereas here, it's so sporadic all throughout the country, which is why rollback is like so important for us, you know?
For American developers, they see value in that. But I think the Japanese developers, they go, well, they'll just go to the arcade. Or the island is this fucking big. Who gives a shit? And I think both of those things are trash.
Or get better internet, bro.
Yeah, like, remember that Yoshinori Ono letter where he was like, yeah, just hook up your Ethernet cord or get a better computer.
Oh God!
What a god!
I was like,
what a stud!
That you could have worded that one better, because now people are just mad at you for saying some ignorant ass shit, bro. We're all connected to Ethernet. We know if you're playing Street Fighter V in 2020, you're connected to Ethernet.
We bully the community if they're on Wi-Fi. Of course, we know.
Yo, I remember there was a guy that I can't remember. I haven't seen him since. He was like, yeah, man, I play Street Fighter V online all day. And I was like, oh, who do you play against? Do you play anybody locally? And he's like, no, I just play on Wi-Fi, man. And I was like, I'm sorry, you play on Wi-Fi? Like, literally Wi-Fi? Like, with a wireless connection? And he goes, non-wired. And he goes, oh, yeah, for sure, man. I just play on Wi-Fi. My connection's good. And I was like, oh, hold on, and I gotta let me get a minute here. You're playing Street Fighter V, one of the worst. Oh my God, it's happening. And there was another guy that played Street Fighter. I think it was Vita Harita. He went, what? And then gradually, a small amount of Street Fighter players were like, yo, man,
rolling
Street Fighter 5 on Wi-Fi? I never saw that guy again, ever. I haven't seen him since. I don't even know his name. I just know that they were like, you can't do that, man. We're playing on wired. And if we're not, we're correcting it on the spot in waves.
That's a Jessica who just refuses.
Yo, does he really play on Wi-Fi?
No, he doesn't actually play on Wi-Fi.
Oh,
if we're being real, no, he doesn't really play on Wi-Fi.
He definitely plays on Wi-Fi, and he kicks the router.
The meme is that he doesn't. So then he always has to like show a video of it plugged in various different ways. The router's in a different place every time he shoots that video. It's so funny. So funny. The cord configuration is always different. Dude, just gets like Ethernet meme is really funny. But that's the joke. But yeah, there's a special place in hell for Wi-Fi warriors. We'll shut you down. We'll take you out.
On every game. On every game. I hate you.
We'll shoot you. But.
So I don't think there's any other big things I need to yell at a fighting game does for aside from adding rollback. Like I'm pulling the Sage Jam over here.
Yeah, I mean we all, man, dude. I'm gonna say two things. One, implement rollback in netcode. Two, please shut the fuck up. I get it. Like, the internet is an aggressive place. Every time I go on Twitter, there's somebody going, "Why isn't there rollback in this game, dude?" If they're not doing it, you can't yell at them anymore. They don't care.
No, man. Strive is going to make a lot of people yell. And it seemed, I mean, we don't know how much the percentage of the yelling worked, right, compared to the survey. But, I mean, squeaky wheel gets the oil.
I don't think that's always the case. And I think that, I legitimately believe that, like, if there's one, keep yelling at them until they cave in the chat. I don't believe that always works. Because there's always a Harada wearing sunglasses, literally wearing a shirt that says, don't ask me for shit, and flipping people off. Okay? That guy exists. That is a real human.
Ronald doesn't flip people off.
Yes, he does. He flipped me off. He flipped me off in person.
You asked him to.
I said, no, I didn't. I said, put Kiryu in fucking in Tekken 7. He went, no. And that was it. That was a real life experience, brother. There are developers that are like that, but there's nothing worse than, I understand that it's important, but I also don't want that to be the majority of the discourse in my day. I don't want, because like, you just get tired of it, man.
It's not for, I mean, but it's not for you either. Like,
that's true.
People have to be able to voice that. Like, yes, it is, you know, it can be overbearing, but at the same time, hey, man, look, they got to be able to, you have to be able to do that, because if you aren't able to do that, they're just going to go play something else eventually. Like,
yeah, that's true. I mean, I've seen it happen before. The only reason I'm going to play Strive is because it's going to have rollback netcode. I mean,
that's going to be a lot of people. That's going to be a lot of people.
A lot of people. Yeah.
That is going to be a ton of people. I mean, inevitably, I'm going to have to buy it because, you know, I have to buy it. But I think that I'm going to try it because I have no choice. I mean, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to play it. You know, I'm not the type of person to purchase a game and never play it. I've ever. Example, yeah, you really have to be stupid to do that. Stupid people make that decision. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to play some trials. I'm going to mess around. Maybe I'll play some online matches. Maybe I'll play as Potemkin because that makes sense. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to do that. And I think that if it's poorly implemented, there will be a lot of people yelling about it for a while. But God, I don't want to see that on Twitter every day. It's like, and it's even worse now because obviously that's where you're going, right? Like you're going to be on Twitter most of your day because you ain't doing shit else because you can't leave your crib. And everybody's playing online games. They probably got one window with their game on it, the other window with Twitter on it, and the second they get a bad connection, they immediately go, oh my God, fix this. Like, oh boy.
Imagine if it launches with like a fundamentally worse issue, like 7 frames of input delay or something.
Don't. Seph, stop.
Please.
I wouldn't wish that on my...
Street Fighter 5 launched with 6 frames of input delay.
Stop.
Yo, that actually, I mean, like, here's the thing. We've experienced that before. We can't pretend like that didn't happen because Street Fighter 5 exists. And Tekken 7 Vanilla existed. Tekken 7 Vanilla had like fucking 5.
I know, I think it was 8. I'm pretty sure it was
8.
I'm pretty sure it was up there. 7 or 8.
Really high amounts of input delay. And I remember them interviewing JDCR and Nee, and it's like, why don't you play Mishima's? And he's like, well, the input delay is too high internally within the PS4 because of the implementation of, Unreal Engine. We can't play these characters. They're too precise for us to play these characters, and they fixed them. But Strive can't do that. Strive's an anime game. You don't get that. You get one chance. People are going to be really upset.
But one final note on talking about all this rollback and whatnot, Dynamite did provide a link. KI still is $10 on the Microsoft Store. So you have 2 days to go buy that. So there is the link in the chat. I highly recommend playing KI, especially for $10, because there's a lot of worth in there, even single player wise. Like Iron Galaxy did actually have a big push for single player content, and it's pretty cool.
Single player content is tight. I actually enjoy it.
Xbox version, so it's not the Steam version. But I think NT said
Xbox.
Yeah, you're better off getting the X because the cool thing about that is it's cross-buy.
Across the PC and the Xbox that you don't have.
Not cross-play though. So like
it is cross-play.
It is cross-play.
Is it?
It is
With
cross-play.
Xbox and Microsoft Store, it's cross-play. There is cross-play between Xbox and Steam, but it's a casual-only mode. There's no ranked crossover.
Oh, okay.
But most people you're going to play are in ranked anyways, so get the Microsoft Xbox version.
Got it.
For sure.
But that's all I got for this week, unless you guys got anything you want to tack on.
Just thanks I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like, this is it's always something, especially nowadays with being quarantined and all of that stuff, that I look forward to, because it's like we get to hang, just talk about fighting games, talk about what's going on in our scene. and get a little pulse on everyone else who tunes in. So thank you to everyone who jumps in on, and even if you just listen on Spotify as well. Thank you for doing that, because it's nice. It's fantastic, and it's a nice way to ease out the week into like a nice chill mode on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm always really excited for Saturdays because it's just another way to be able to banter with you guys or like tackle, even if it's tackling important stuff. Like it's just nice discussion.
Ham and Seph grab the coffee. I get my water. Dan, big chillin' as always.
Water.
I have
Yeah,
water.
it's always nice.
Okay, I still have water. Cool.
You good?
Drink
you
water.
Good,
I drink water and I drink coffee during the stream, and that's why I get way more animated as the stream progresses, because I killed a pot of coffee on stream. You watched it.
You're gonna hit the bathroom.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But
You're the shits, dude.
For sure, like I always enjoy doing like EX Saturdays. Obviously, it's always a really good time because I like just talking about fighting games, and I also don't like when I'm talking about something like when we're in a group. There's like 8 of us in a Discord talking at once, and then somebody's like, whack opinion, and I'm playing another game in the background. I don't want that. Please shut up. Like, I'm not talking about that right now. And then you got to pull it into a different call. This is a place where we get to see the community outside of who we are, and at the same time simultaneously talk to each other about the things we care about the most. Because, I mean, I'm wearing a Michigan Master shirt right now. You know I'm committed. This is what I do. This is what I love. And honestly, if it weren't for this, I wouldn't even have a roommate right now.
Damn.
That's true. Yeah, I met Ham at a fighting game tournament, and then we became friends. And then a year later, we became roommates.
Yeah.
We owe this to the FGC. The last thing I'm going to point out is Low Kick Online Week 4 is live. So please go ahead and sign up for that. We do have Dragon Ball.
We're going to have Dragon Ball in the lineup, baby. The lobby system works. I hope the netcode connects.
So if you guys are interested in LKO, please go ahead and hit up that Smash GG. We want to keep the momentum that we have going because it's been phenomenal since we've started. We've always hovered 50 plus, and with Skullgirls blowing it up, we hit 100 yesterday. Like, that was crazy. And we did put out the poll, and the Dragon Ball community was very vocal about wanting to get in on this. So we hope you guys roll out next Friday, and we're happy to have you. So link is in chat. Hit up that link. It'll connect you to the Low Kick Discord, where you'll get all the information you need to know how to participate. And we're gonna have a great week as always.
And if you're in the Discord, just say hi, man. Just say what's up. Just chill. There's one guy that's just streaming Half-Life. I don't know who he is. No one knows who he is. He never talks to anyone.
And if you guys get KI, hit me up. I'll definitely play with you. I love KI.
But I mean, like, if you want to be that guy that's just chilling there playing Half-Life, I mean, somebody's gonna join you. You know, use it. There's hundreds of people in the Discord. On the real, I think there's over hundreds. So I mean, talk every once in a while. Say hi. I'm reading it all day, even if it's whack. I'm gonna read it. Even if you say something completely whack, if you're like Soul Calibur 6 sucks, I read it. I might even have a full-on conversation with you. I'd like to see the discourse. There's plenty of people to talk to. Get in there.
All right, dudes. I think that's going to be it for us. So that's going to wrap up this week's episode of EX Saturdays. If any of our viewers have any questions or topics they'd like to hear us discuss, you can hit us up on Twitter at EX Saturdays or through the email exsaturdays@gmail. If you want to hit me up personally, you can hit me up at twitch.tv/NT1Evolution or at Twitter with the same. Twitch is with the underscore, Twitter without the underscore.
You can find me at twitter.com/SuperDynamiteD. I'm going to give my Twitch. I don't know why I do this every week. One day I will stream at least once a week, one of these days. Twitch.tv/SuperDynamiteD. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll get there. You can find me at twitch.tv/LKHamJams. And you can find me at twitter.com/@HamHarder. Ham as hard as you can. Generally, I'm just kind of watching, waiting for people to say whack things, and then blocking them on reaction. Because Twitter is not a very jovial place at the moment. and it's making me mad. So yeah, just don't be whack. You're gonna get blocked, and I'm gonna talk shit about you.
You can find me on twitter.com/ or at Seph Mitchell. That's Seph, the PH, Sephiroth.
Stop.
That's in my head right now. Or you can find me at twitch.tv/ also Seph Mitchell. You can see my content. It is mostly me just playing games that I like, or playing games that you ask me to play or are fun. That's basically how I do things. I'll just play whatever. But my Twitter is mostly just like a signal boost account. Anybody puts out content that I want other people to see, I'll just retweet it. It's cool. It's just a full wholesome Twitter, man. I just want to support the homies. That's what it is. Might as well just be a support the homies Twitter, or just bad memes. But yeah, anyway.
All right, guys, make sure you follow this channel, Low Kick Esports, because we will be streaming live next Friday for LKO, and of course, the podcast EX Saturdays will be back next Saturday, 11:30 CST, every week until further notice.
Yep.
So thanks, dudes, for watching. Hope you have a great Saturday.
Peace and love.
Marvel 3.